Tell me if this has happened to you before. You submit an essay to your teacher. You think it's the best essay you've ever written. You think maybe it's the best essay in the class, maybe even the best essay your teacher has ever read. You brainstormed for hours, organized your material, wrote a draft, a second draft, and the final version was spell-checked and double-checked and triple-checked, and you even asked your mom to read it and give you her opinion, and she loved it. She was so proud of you. In your mind, there's no question that the essay is great. The only question is, how great? Great like A or great like A+? Finally, the day arrives when your teacher returns your essay. And as you flip through the pages, excited to find the place where the teacher has marked your grade, you feel a sudden emptiness in your chest. Your eyes locked onto a letter in the center of the last page. You got a B+, but you worked hard. And you're a little annoyed. Your first thought is, why didn't I get an A? Why didn't I get an A-? What am I missing? You approach your teacher the next day and you ask, why didn't I get an A? There weren't that many errors and I feel like my ideas were correct, so why didn't I get an A? Your teacher uses vague language. They say, your essay was really good, but it could have used more polish. Or maybe they say, I'm sorry, it's my lunch break. Now leave my presence, you incompetent fool. So what gets you from that B+ to an A? You want to know, and you want to make that leap. You're ready to do whatever it takes. There are two key ingredients in this recipe for success. And let me tell you, they are healthy ingredients. First ingredient. Oscar Wilde once said, it is absurd to divide people into good and bad. People are either charming or tedious. Now replace the word people in Oscar Wilde's quotation with essays. It is absurd to divide essays into good and bad. Essays are either charming or tedious. Stop thinking about your essay in terms of whether it's good or bad. An essay is more than that. An essay is like a person. It's got personality. It can be vibrant, fun, and easygoing, or quiet, meditative, and humorous. Either way, don't be afraid to let the best of your personality shine through. A lot of students believe that their college essays have to be serious and formal. And to some degree, that's right. Your essay should be respectful and serious in tone. But you, as a person, are so much more than someone who is respectful and serious. Again, let the best of your personality shine through. Second ingredient. George Orwell, the author of 1984 and Animal Farm, wrote an essay titled Politics and the English Language. And in this essay, he expresses his frustration with unnecessarily complicated writing. Students in their first year of college often believe that it's good to use complicated words and phrases because teachers like that, right? Here's an example of an overly complicated sentence. Within the context of the present economic circumstances, it is my individualized and subjective viewpoint that an escalation in the rates of unemployment within our immediate local vicinity has been engendered. My first reaction when I read that sentence is, what? The sentence needs to be simplified. Within the context of the present economic circumstances can be simplified to the current economic situation. It is my individualized and subjective viewpoint becomes it is my personal opinion. An escalation in the rates of becomes an increase in. Within our immediate local vicinity becomes in our local community. Now we have a more simplified sentence that reads, it is my personal opinion that the current economic situation has led to an increase in unemployment rates in our local community. And we can simplify it further. I believe the current economic situation has caused higher unemployment rates in our community. Now that's a nice sentence. It's straightforward, gets to the point, and avoids any unnecessary blah blah blah. You might think, hold on, I want to express complicated ideas. I can't use simple vocabulary, but here's a secret. Complicated ideas are built with simple words and phrases. Many simple words and phrases work together to create an idea that is complicated. Here's another way to think of this second ingredient. Write like you speak. Imagine that you were casually chatting with your teacher, explaining your ideas. That's how you should write. Avoid writing to impress your teacher. Write to inform, to please, and to clarify, and you will impress them. So here are the 2 key ingredients you need to raise your grade from a B+ to an A. First, let the best of your personality shine through. And second, don't write in an unnecessarily complicated way. Practice including at least one of these 2 ingredients in your next essay and see how it goes. It's worth experimenting. You have nothing to lose. And don't be discouraged if you add these ingredients to your writing and you still end up with a B. In the long run, the more thought you put into your writing practice, the better a writer you will become. Now, I don't assume to have all the answers, so I scoured the internet for more tips, and here are some insightful comments I found on Reddit. Sunburstbox says, I've found the best thing that helped my grades was actually making friends in my classes and forming small study groups. Even if we never actually studied together, I could get easy help, have people to easily reach out to study with if I really wanted, and I felt more in touch, aware of what was going on in class. Form a small study group, perhaps on WhatsApp or Discord. What's in a Name 1234 says, seek help from your TAs and profs. Go to their office hours and spend the full amount of time in lab sections to complete as much of your assignments with their supervision. Most instructors want their students to succeed and learn the material. They will help you. Seek help from your teacher. Some students are shy and don't want to bother their teachers with stupid questions. Don't feel that way. Your teacher will be more than happy to help. The Red Jaren says, sitting in the front row changed my life. Sit in the front row. This is a great idea for students who are easily distracted. Chiliak says, protect your sleep, learn to say no, go and exercise regularly. Being honest about your study habits will help immensely. It takes a good amount of self-reflection to really find out what works for you. Learning how to study effectively is important. Be honest with yourself, with what is working and what isn't working. Change what can be changed. My grades improved when I stopped doing what was working for everyone else and focused on what works for me. For example, the only time I could prepare for a test in a group is when I am doing a basic overview. I can't do homework in a group unless it's with one other person, just to look at the problems together, then we would split and finish individually. This is such a useful comment. Get into a regular sleep schedule. Going to the gym will help with this, and it'll improve your mood too. Don't be afraid to say no. In other words, if your friends invite you to the movies, or you're offered a leadership position at school that will entail you taking on more responsibilities, don't be afraid to say no. Finally, do what works for you. Personally, I discovered that I was motivated when I bargained with myself. I asked myself, what do I really want? What about a new pair of headphones? Well, if I study for 2 hours every day for 2 weeks in preparation for my upcoming exam, I'll reward myself with those headphones. I asked a few other teachers at Languistic what advice they would give students who wanted to raise their grade from a B+ to an A. Julia Silva said, knowing your structure is important, and knowing is better than memorizing. In other words, when you write your English essay for college, your teacher will probably ask you to follow a certain structure. Maybe they'll expect a thesis statement in the introduction, or a certain number of paragraphs. Make sure you know the structure so well that it's second nature. Otherwise, you won't be able to focus on your content because you'll be consumed with making sure you get the structure right. Karini sent me a rubric, and one of the requirements for an A stood out to me. Originality. You need to try to write about something that you believe no other student in your class will write about. For example, when most students write about Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet, they write about the theme of love. Do something different. Focus on a theme like the rebellious nature of youth, or perhaps parent-child relationships. This will make your essay unique and all the more likely to score a higher grade. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. Don't forget to subscribe to Languistic.ca for more content. Bye bye for now.